All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Green Bay Packers. First things first, happy Christmas Eve to everybody. I hope you all have a great Christmas holiday. And for me personally, as a cheesehead, this was perfect. I know the way the fourth quarter went, the way the second half went, it wasn't necessarily perfect. But to me, a victory at the end of the day on the road in week 16 to keep this playoff team's hopes alive, that's something I'm going to take. All right, so 33-30 on the road against the Carolina Panthers. I know that they are just 2-12. They have a really solid defense, and they played well today. All right. This gets the Green Bay Packers sitting here at 7-8. We still have a lot of football left to be played today. We got some football left to be played tomorrow, and then we got 2 weeks left in the regular season, Chicago and Minnesota. I do think if the Green Bay Packers can win out, if they win the next 2 games, I do think this team makes the playoffs. Nonetheless, I continue to like what I see from Jordan Love. It wasn't necessarily in the stat sheet this afternoon, just 17-28 for only 219 yards. He did have 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and then he had that quarterback sneak for another touchdown. So at the end of the day, 0 turnovers for Green Bay as a whole, 0 turnovers, no interceptions, no fumbles from our man Jordan Love, and 3 touchdowns. All right, that works for me. So before we get into tonight's video, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Packers fans, if we could try and get this video to 250 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. We're diehard cheeseheads, so we post a ton of Packers content on this channel. Guys, one thing I want to just point out immediately, I think the naysayers are going to bring up a lot about this defense, and I will keep it a buck with you. Baker Mayfield last week at Lambeau was not ideal. Bryce Young this afternoon against the Packers defense was also not ideal. But hey, it's a marathon, not a race. And we're still alive. We're fighting coughs here. But anyways, there was no Christian Watson. There was no Jayden Reed. And guys stepped up, all right? Romeo Doubs, 4 catches, 79 yards and a touchdown. Tucker Kraft, the rookie tight end with no Luke Musgrave, 4 catches, 60 yards. As the season is coming to a close, it looks like we got 2 future studs at the tight end position. Whether or not it shows up on the stat sheet, I don't care, because Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft, as my 2 rookie tight ends, they have done a phenomenal job, especially Tucker Kraft in the absence of Luke Musgrave. But once again, there was no Christian Watson. There was no Jayden Reed. Mr. Bo Melton stepped the F up this afternoon. It was more so in the first half. 4 catches for 44 yards. Shout out Bo Melton. Shout out Bo Melton. Shout out guys like Malik Heath. These guys are doing phenomenal jobs when their name gets called this season for the Packers offense. Dontavian Wicks, 2 catches, 29 yards, and an important touchdown. But finally, my most favorite thing that I saw this afternoon with the Packers offense, our boy Aaron Jones is back. He is healthy. He was on, I think, a 30 snap count limit last week. This week, he was good to go. No restrictions. Not probably fully healthy, but fully healthy on the injury report. 21 carries, 127 yards. He averaged 6 yards per carry. It was perfect. Aaron Jones came out striking red hot once again, just like he did last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this is a player to watch for these last 2 games of the season. He's 29 years old. He's like the oldest player that we have as far as quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers and tight ends go. And he was a huge veteran. I love his mentorship, his leadership ability. It's just all of the small things, and having a healthy Aaron Jones goes a really long way, as us Packers fans have noticed, because he lit up the Bears this week. Then he's been injured periodically throughout the season, but if we have him healthy and he plays the way he did today and last week against Tampa Bay, but now he's on a no snap restriction, well, I'm starting to lick my chops, because we're going to pair him up with A.J. Dillon, who didn't blow up the stat sheet, 7 attempts for just 12 yards, but he did have that touchdown. We mentioned the Jordan Love touchdown, but the Green Bay Packers offense, rushing-wise, 34 attempts, 162 yards, averaging 4.8 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. This is huge, because you're going up against Minnesota, you're going up against Chicago next week. Those are 2 very good rush defenses. We need a healthy Aaron Jones. His confidence, his momentum is through the roof right now. We've got Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon healthy right now. That's just going to be absolutely critical for these next 2 weeks of Packers football. And honestly, as an optimistic Packers fan, hopefully for a first-round playoff game. All right, so let's talk about this defense a little bit. They gave up a bunch of yards. You know, Bryce Young, 23-35, 312 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Now, I'll keep it a buck with you. I haven't watched all that many full Carolina Panthers games this season, but I would assume that was his best game as a QB in his rookie season. He came ready to play. And, you know, we gave up 30 points defensively. And this is now back-to-back weeks where the defense just doesn't really look good. You know, they gave up 34 to Tampa Bay. They gave up 30 to Carolina this afternoon. And those are not two high-powered offenses. In fact, those are two, like, bottom-tier ranked offenses in general. But, hey, I'm going to take the victory. Some things I like that I saw this afternoon. First off, Jaire Alexander is back. He was making a big impact on the game. He had a forced fumble. But our man Preston Smith, with a sack and a half, he was all over Bryce. He was all over the quarterback. And, yeah, I love having Preston Smith on this football team. Quay Walker also chipped in with a half sack. It's going to be interesting to see how these next two games go. I think we really I mean, Nick Mullins just threw for like 411 yards, but he did have 4 interceptions. This defense, I know they had, you know, a couple of team meetings. A lot of guys were more vocal. Guys like Quay Walker were more vocal in the locker room and in the meetings this week because, you know, when you give up a historic stat to Baker Mayfield, and I give a lot of credit and a lot of praise and a lot of respect to Baker Mayfield for just honestly what he's done all season, but especially last weekend on the road at Lambeau Field against our defense. You know, the way it's playing against Minnesota and Chicago, it just needs to step up, and they just need to play a little bit better. We only had 2 total sacks, the 2 players I just mentioned. We did have that 1 forced fumble like we just mentioned, but no interceptions going up against a rookie QB. I do need to see things tightened up and straightened up, but the good news is for me personally, a lot of these guys either just came back or are coming back. Guys like Jaire Alexander, Eric Stokes is now back. He's now healthy. So it's not perfect. It's not great. I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys. I do need it to improve for these final 2 games. But hey, at the end of the day, they got the job done, and the offense won us this football game. And what I'm seeing from Jordan Love is just poise. I'm seeing this cool, calm, chill charisma. He looks in control. He looks like a leader. It doesn't look like this is the first NFL season that he's been a full-time starter. I love either way, no matter what happens, man. As a Packers fan, no matter what happens in these last 2 weeks of the regular season, I cannot wait for the future of Jordan Love. I just can't wait. I think he's doing such a good job. We see it on a week-to-week basis. Some of these throws that he makes is beautiful. And since the midway point-ish of the regular season, he's had like 13 touchdowns to just 1 interception. So he's got me fully bought in, like completely fully bought in, at least for this upcoming season. And it's just got me excited for these next 2 weeks and also for the future of Packers football. So I'm going to take the victory because it's Christmas Eve and I'm not going to nitpick any of this stuff. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Packers fans, are we making the playoffs? Let me know down below. That's it for me. Enjoy the holiday season and we will see